Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts with another boxing, another offline product game review. This is Crysis Remastered Trilogy for the PlayStation 4. To jump right into it, this physical copy here comes with 3 games on one disc. It comes with Crysis Remastered, Crysis 2 Remastered, and Crysis 3 Remastered, all on one disc. Now each game can be installed individually onto your PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, and so therefore it makes it a lot nicer in case you want to install specific games, or you're working with a limited hard drive, or you're only interested in playing one of the games from the 3 games, which is extremely nice. Now instead of having to install all 3, you can just pick and choose which one you would like. Now, physically, the Crysis Remastered, the first game, comes with the update version 1.03 right on the disc. As well as a bonus, there were no updates available at the time of making this video, so it was extremely nice to see Crysis 1 fully on disc. Now, Crysis 2 Remastered, sadly, is the vanilla version 1.0, and there was an update available. This update size was 3.9 gigabytes big and will take you to version 1.02 since the time of making this video. Now, Crysis 3 Remastered is just a vanilla version of the game again, 1.0, and sadly there was an update available. This update size was 7.5 gigabytes and will take you to version 1.02 since the time of making this video. So the only one that's fully up to date is the first one, and the second and third one has a pretty good significant size update. Now, like always, I did play all 3 of these games completely offline with an unregistered account, and I did not update them. And I didn't experience any problems or issues massively on my PlayStation 5 on my playtest. They worked beginning to end really well. I didn't experience any frame rate issues or stuttering or any problems. The games load up extremely quick. Now, granted, I want to point out on Crysis 2, I did have one moment where I walked into a section in the level, like the level was trying to load up, and the level didn't load up. It was like nothingness, and it was an abyss. But you can see all the assets, the enemies jumping around and stuff like that, moving, attacking humans and stuff like that. So I got to see all that stuff, but there was no map. There was nothing. I just took a couple more steps, and eventually it loaded itself up. That's the only noteworthy one. The other weird issues, now this can come from 1, 2, and 3. The AI seem to act funny at certain moments. I don't necessarily know if that's just because of this version or that's how they always were. I actually have not really sat down and played Crysis. This was the first time I ever sat down and played Crysis 1, 2, and 3 back to back. I did play Crysis 2 a long time ago on PlayStation 3, but I didn't remember anything of it. So this was the first time I've ever sat down and played Crysis, and to put it out the front, this is an amazing trilogy collection to have. It's great to have all 3 games, the remastered, they all ran great and played great, and they felt great to play on my PlayStation 5. Now, please keep in mind, I'm not the biggest in first-person mode kind of games. I've always been very open about this. I've always liked third-person mode, over the head. I just enjoy seeing my character. That's kind of the playstyle in games I like to see. But that doesn't mean I don't play first-person mode games. It was very odd coming into this game because it's actually been a very long time since I fully sat down and played an action FPS game. The last time I played one was maybe Red Faction, the original Red Faction on my PlayStation 4. And I did play Resident Evil 8, but that's more of a survival action game. So, I mean, this was the first time I was playing like Crysis, where it's more of a rooty-tooty-shooty, straight-up, just run-and-gun game. Now, as I said, it was the first time I ever played Crysis, and I do admit, out of all 3 of them, 2 and 3 is probably my favorite. The first one is probably my least favorite, because, again, I'm not a big fan of the huge open-world exploration, and though this game is not huge in open world, you just got basically segments of worlds you could explore. Again, I'm just not a big fan of having to run all this long distance to get to my location. It's not fun. As well as that, the first one, it's extremely slow. Your character is excessively slow. There's no run. There is a run button, but you're just straight up sprinting then. And it's basically unmanageable, and you burn up so much energy. So you don't really even do it, because again, you're going to get caught. And that was the annoying part. I didn't really like the first one at the beginning, but when I came back and played it for recording, I noticed I enjoyed myself because I was no longer sneaking. I think both the first one and the second one, there's really no reason to sneak. Just go in there guns a-blazing. Now, granted, if you played it on a higher difficulty, you may need to sneak because you could just instantly die. But once I was just running and gunning and shooting and using the armor skin, I was actually having a little bit more fun than trying to sneak around. The sneaking aspect in 1 and 2, it's not the greatest. 3 is definitely better in terms of the sneaking. It definitely is a lot more improvement, but again, I still just run and gun myself through it. But I mean, that's each their own on that area. But it was really nice to get to play Crysis 1, because this is the first time ever we had a physical copy for console of the first Crysis game. So it was nice to play 1, 2, and 3 back to back to get the full image of the story. And even with that, I still have no idea what's going on in this game. Playing 1, 2, and 3, I'm still confused with the story in this game. It felt like I was just jumping around so much. Plot holes and stuff I still don't understand. Like, what happened to Nomad? What happened to the main character you play in the second one? I forget his name. But, and then, how's Prophet alive? Again, I don't understand. Maybe I missed something, but the story is just all over the place. I have no idea what's going on in the story. Maybe I'm just dumb. I'll accept that. That's probably what it is. But, man, I have no idea what's going on in the story in this game. But gameplay-wise, again, it's more of a Rudy Tooty Shooty than Call of Duty. It definitely is the era of the Xbox 360 or PS3 era of just that Call of Duty gameplay, Battlefield, the big explosion we had in FPSs back in that time, where everyone was coming out with an FPS shooter. It definitely feels and plays like it, but at least it has some different elements to it. The armor skin, the stealth camo, at least they try to change up the gameplay just enough to keep it at least variable. Still playing like Call of Duty, where you're basically doing the same thing. Just run in, kill terrorists or whatever, and then rinse and repeat. So it was fun for that. And as well as the second one and the third one introduced some kind of upgrading system where you can like unlock more abilities and stuff. Though this is very poorly implemented in 2 and 3, as a lot of the abilities, I really just couldn't see no justification for a lot of them. Like, a lot of them, I was just like, why am I would waste resources for this? Like the second one and third one, I just got to a certain point, I picked my abilities, I never picked any other ability. I knew what I had and what worked, and I never used it. So, poor balancing and poor management in terms of the upgrade system. That definitely feels like it was just thrown in there because they felt like, well, every game's going to have a upgrading system or RPG element where you slowly build up more abilities without really considering what those abilities are and how justifiable they are to be using and waste that amount of precious resource for that ability. Other than that, again, it was alright. I didn't blow me away. I mean, I am a retro gamer. I love older style games. I play them all the time, and I'm very open about older game issues. But Crysis didn't really impress me. Even the first one, playing the second one and third one, which is probably my preferred second and third one, they're all right. They're an all right running gun shooter. I appreciate and respect the original first one because it was a graphical showcase. There was a big meme back in the day where can your PC run Crysis because it was such a graphic fidelity game, which even now it still looks really good. And I respect it for that and sort of the elements that they implemented it into the game. The second and third one, they kind of streamlined it a little bit more, which in my preferred opinion, I kind of liked it more. I liked second one's kind of environmental design and stuff like that, but the third one has largely better gameplay. While like the third one you can sprint without draining energy, while the second and first when you sprint you drain all your energy. Because apparently you can't run, the soldier can't run without draining his energy. Makes no sense. But at least the third one, they fix it up a lot. The third one is definitely, if they're going to make a sequel, take a lot of the inspiration from the third one. Because the third one is darn good for its mechanics. The upgrading system needs a lot of work, and just certain implementations of the stealth and the armor aspects needs a lot of reworking and stuff, but at least there's a groundwork. Overall, this was a great package. I really enjoyed it. It ran great on my PlayStation 5, other than those little issues I mentioned, but it didn't really ruin my experience. I didn't experience any other issues than that. I did drop a gun once that I wanted to come back for, and it fell through the ground, but that's pretty much every game has that issue if you swap out guns. I mean, even Halo's had that issue before. But, like always, thank you all so much for watching. I will try to leave links down in the description for instant copy, which I do recommend. It worked great. Complete versions of the game. Even with those big updates that 2 and 3 has, I still played them all the way to the beginning and the end, and I didn't experience any massive issues. The games ran great on my PS5. No frame rate issues or anything like that. So, again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!